So Kieran, how old were you when you got your diagnosis?
It was probably like 4 or 5 I was probably diagnosed, because when I was young, when I got frustrated, I just kept on banging my head against the wall. And I did some other stuff I don't know about. Then my mum and dad took me to possibly a hospital or just a doctor to get diagnosed with it. Then after that I was diagnosed with autism.
Charlie, what about you?
I was diagnosed at the age 2.5, and I never let my family open the door because when I was little I loved opening the door for some reason. So whenever someone would open a door I'd get upset, so I'd close it and open it again.
Okay. How about you, James?
13.
Okay. And what led to you getting your diagnosis?
It's just like when it comes to group play, I always wanted to play on my own, and I'd always myself with my steam trains when I was little.
Okay, so you were into your trains when you were little.
Never wanted to do anything with anyone, just wanted to be on my own.
Okay. So, but it took till you were 13 to get diagnosed. So that's quite a lot older.
Long process.
Yeah, it was a long process, wasn't it? Okay. Okay. So Kieran, why was it important to get a diagnosis?
It's important to get a diagnosis so people can understand you better and also not go at you as bad as it would be. Because for instance, say like if Charlie accidentally broke a chair for some reason, if his parents went at him without him being diagnosed with it, he would be in a heck of a lot of trouble. But if he was diagnosed with it and he goes at it, his parents would probably try to explain to him why he shouldn't do that and that. Like make it easy on him.
Okay.
And it's also good because when you go to school, you get a helper to help you with stuff. So you might be alone, confused, all frustrated. The helper will help you try to make you understand the subject and help you to work it out.
Brilliant. Okay. Any other reasons why it's important?
I'm going to leave the other reasons for Charlie and James to say.
Fabulous. Charlie, anything to add to that?
Well, it's important to know if you're diagnosed, because sometimes, not like me, but because I'm only affected a little bit, sometimes some people might be really affected badly. So when someone looks at them and they do something wrong, they might think there's something wrong with them. Like it's not because they have diagnosed with autism, it's because they think they've been brought up badly or something. Well, if they don't realise they have autism, they'll know what's wrong with them, so they'll try and help them out. Not just let them leave them and just tell them off, so they'll do it again. They'll try and help them out so they don't do it again, so they learn.
Brilliant. Excellent. Okay, James, what about you? Why do you think it's important to have a diagnosis?
You get to meet people just like you, they get to understand you, you get to understand them. And I think, even for me and quite a lot of other people, you understand one another more when you get on more easily.
Brilliant. Thank you, boys. Lovely examples. I think you have one more about places you could go.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone? Yeah, James?
I remember it.
Yeah?
Unless Kieran wants to do it.
No, you do it.
Sure?
Yeah.
Because it's like going to Thorpe Park and you got to pay, but your carer gets in free, as long as they're over 18.
Yeah.
And you get to go to the disability, the
Fast
services.
aid.
In the services bin, you get your little band so you can get onto rides like fast track.
Okay. So
Well, a big rides do take like quite a long time though, because you get certain waiting times.
But then after you've been on the ride fast, they write down the time when you can use the van next time.
Yeah, but the small rides you can go on fast.
Okay.
So worth it.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Thank you, boys. Well done. Okay, so Josh, how do you feel about your autism?
I feel that it is a part of who I am. I don't find it a hindrance or an advantage in anything. It's just who I am.
Okay. And you said a few things about the things that you'd done because of it, you felt. Yeah?
Yes, mainly because of my autism, I was able to meet many people. My best friend, who I won't name for his rights.
Okay, yeah.
who I go to gymnastics and football with, where I met most of my teammates who I've gone on with over the years. Most of the people my parents have met and made friends with have been made thanks to my autism in the midst.
Okay, so that's quite an interesting point, isn't it? You were saying your life would have been very different, and actually, you said you'd enjoyed your life, yeah? Okay, thanks, Josh. Brilliant. Nikki, what about you? How do you feel about your autism?
I don't mind having it. It's part of me. Like with everyone here, it always is part of them. But like if I could, I would change it just to see if it would change my personality of being a normal kid, and if it's what gives me my personality as I am now, then I would not give it up for the world.
Brilliant, well said. So Charlie, what do you think about autism?
Well, I think people that say autism isn't normal, I think they're just silly, because no one's normal. We all have our own different sets of powers. So if someone says they're normal, then just imagine if everyone was like him, how would the world be? It'd be plain and silly.
That's great. Brilliant. Tell us how you feel about your autism.
What do I feel about my autism? I think my autism makes me more compatible to do normal things that other people can do.
Okay.
I mean, like, people without autism and that, without disabilities, go right through normal life, like, different things, working hard and that, and learning stuff more easier. But for us, like me, as autism, like me learning the exact same stuff and understanding it just like them, makes me more smarter than them, because I managed to learn something with a disability. And also, I think autism also gives you, like, my autism gives you, like, it makes you improve on certain things than other people can't. Like, my people is able to do music, like, I can just write down music. I've got all these different rhymes and that going through my head, and it just pops out. So I could just think of that. I've just got all these little things in my head saying different things. And I could do stuff that I couldn't do when I was younger, but I can do now. I think it's what helps me a lot and helps me become more of a civilised person.
Okay, that's brilliant. Okay, so we were going to talk about triumphs, so things that maybe you've overcome or things that you've been really good at or achievements. So what about you?
I've become a buddy, and I've helped all the year 7s, year 8s, year 9s. I've probably helped year 10s as well. And
Are there other things that you feel you've got better at than when you were younger?
yeah, I got postcards at home
Okay, and what are the postcards for?
good behaviour and working well in lessons.
Brilliant, you've got loads of those, haven't you?
Yeah.
Okay. And we were talking before, weren't we, about something else, about personal...
Space, obviously.
Yeah. What's the change been there?
That I don't get in people's way or in their personal space.
Yeah.
I give them enough space unless they want me to come closer to them to hear what they're saying. That's the only time I would go near them.
Okay, and you judge that. That's brilliant. Okay. So Josh, what advice have you got for parents of children?
I'd say probably what my parents did for me is to not treat them like they have autism. Don't treat them any differently you would a normal child. There may be occasions where you have to, but it doesn't mean you should let them get away with anything any differently. Regardless of what they have, a child should be treated as a child.
Brilliant. Brilliant. That's great advice. Anything more?
Not that I can think of, no.
No? So Nikki, what advice would you give?
The head teacher was like, if you don't behave, you're going to be expelled. It weren't until I got my diagnosis that they treated me with more respect.
Okay, so perhaps they understood what was difficult for
Yeah.
you. Yeah?
And boys will be boys, but when they grow to adults, they will go out of their childhood ways. And when I was younger, I used to be a terror, but now I don't do that. And you can even ask Miss Mulholland, because that's my tutor,
Mm-hmm.
and she'll say that I've worked so hard at getting all the grades I've want and just succeeded and had postcards home.
How many did you say you got? About
20.
Okay, which is amazing.
And I've got a certificate for ICT,
Mm-hmm.
and that's roughly about all that I've got.
Lovely. Thanks, Nikki. Okay. So James, what would be your one piece of advice to teachers that would make your life easier in school?
If they could get to know us as Spectrum students, if teachers was to come into the Spectrum Centre and spend some sessions with us, so the teachers get to know us, and then we get to know them before they start treating us differently to everyone else.
I think that's great advice. Well done. So we were going to talk about one piece of advice that you would give to teachers or parents that would make your life easier. So Simon, what would be your one piece of advice?
Listen, everyone. Make sure everyone has their chance to talk, as their views are equally as important as my own.
Brilliant. Okay, thanks Simon. Joshua, what about you? What's your one piece of advice?
I'd say listen to the students and always think about giving them different advice.
Okay.
We're not stupid after all.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So everyone's different things work for different people.
Mm.
Excellent. Nikki, what one piece of advice would you give?
That if students are angry, let them calm down, have 5 minutes on their own, even have time out in a quiet room, or if they're at home in their bedroom. And I can't remember what I was going to say next.
Yeah, you were saying you need time out before you're ready to talk about things. Yeah? Excellent. And you use that really well, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah? Lovely. Thanks, Nikki. Kieran, what's your one piece of advice?
Try to understand them. There's going to be times that parents and teachers will probably go at them, but they don't understand how they would feel and how they act. So to give them a bit of time to process it in a nice, easy way so they can understand it better.
That's
Because
fantastic.
if you just go at them, they're not going to understand it and you're just going to make them more frustrated.
Fantastic advice. Thanks, Kieran. So what are your plans for next year, Charlie?
I was thinking going to North West Kent College in Dartford to do the level 3 course in media But if I wasn't going to make it, then I would be doing the level 2 course.
Okay. And have you looked at the college? You had an interview or anything?
Not yet, but hopefully I will.
Yeah, that'll come soon, won't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. So James, what are your plans for the future? What are you doing after you finish here in this year?
I want to go to Hadlow College and do animal management at a level 3 extended diploma course.
Brilliant. And have you heard from the college yet?
They said a couple of days after my interview that I've been offered a place if I get 5 GCSEs A stars to C, at least 2 in maths, in English maths and or science.
Okay, fantastic. Good for you. So we wanted to talk about what your plans were for the future. So can I start with you, Josh? What are your plans from now?
I'm hoping that at some point I can go to university, but I'm also looking towards an apprenticeship maybe.
Okay, apprenticeship for what?
For a teacher.
Oh, okay. And at the moment you're actually in sixth form, aren't you?
Yeah.
Which is why you're dressed differently to everybody else. Brilliant. Okay, thanks Josh. Simon, what about you? What are your
My plans
plans?
for the future is to go to college.
Mm-hmm. And what are you hoping to do at college?
Hoping to do, I think it's like a prep for life course.
Okay.
Living sort of it's like a life and living course.
Okay. So they'll be doing sort of life skills, that kind of thing. Yeah? Excellent. Okay. Nikki, what about you?
Well, I'm going to go to the college
Mm-hmm.
and because I can work with young kids like toddlers and babies.
That's what you'd like to do?
Yeah.
Yeah? And you're actually going to have a look tomorrow morning, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Have you got other interests that you'd like to look at as well at college?
Well, if I can't look after kids, then I'd look after animals.
Ah, animals. Okay. Brilliant. Kieran, what about you? What are your plans?
My plan is to come back here in the sixth form.
Okay. And what are you going to study in the sixth form?
Music, practical and theory,
Mm-hmm.
and business BTEC.
Brilliant. And we're going to hear from you at the end, aren't we? Your musical skills at the end of the film.
Yeah.
We've got your rap, haven't we?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so very different things. Brilliant.
Benefits of being in the Spectrum Centre.
You, if you get angry, you can come back to the centre and calm down.
The benefits of being in the Spectrum Centre is you can work in a quiet and safe environment, and you can also talk to others about your autism.
They also don't make you feel any different than how you are.
You don't feel alone.
You learn that autism isn't a disease, it can be controlled.
You can meet people just like you.
Autism is something in your mind and it keeps on going for a very long time, but this disability is really good because you can do stuff that you never could, like going on roller coasters at Thorpe Park at the front before it goes dark, and we get the help when working at school, which is, by the way, kind of cool. But since we have this, doesn't mean we're weird. You just can't make us disappear, because autism makes us really smart, and our imagination is a work of art.
Look.
Hey,
Here we
it's
go.
that look. It's
Here we go.
that look.
Okay, so we were going to talk about. I've forgotten. We're called. Okay. Oh, stop. I don't know how to stop it. Oh.
Why is everyone laughing? I feel I'm gonna cry now. Because it feels like everyone's laughing at me.
I was just
Are we
thinking.
ready?
No.
I don't know why they're laughing.
Neither do I. Why are you laughing?